Hi, welcome back. I'm going to do another quick video on the Volvo. Bright sunny day, so hopefully you'll be able to see what I'm doing. It's been a while since I've done much, but too busy with work. But just this now. MOT's booked for Saturday, I think it's the 27th. Yeah, next weekend. So I've got basically a week to finish off the last few bits. Main thing is sorting out the brakes. All the bulbs are done, niff-naff little bits. Get an MOT on it, get it cleaned up. And then I can worry about that front corner that needs a little bit of tweaking. It's looking quite sorry for itself because black's one of those colours that looks really bad. As you can see, looks really grotty when it's not clean, but I think when it comes up all right, it'll come up all right when it's clean. So we'll see. I've got the wheels off, got the brakes stripped. You can see the discs are quite rusty just because it's been stud. This side's quite bad, the other side's fairly clear. Same with the front. The front's cleaned up slightly just by moving it around, but the ingrained rust, sorry, isn't going to help. But the discs are like new, sort of wear-wise, as are the pads. There's actually nothing really wrong with them, so I'm going to clean them all up, service everything, make sure it all works. This corner's got a slight bit out of shape with the bracket, which is what I expected, with the front bumper not quite lining up. So the initial nudge on the front corner was, as with all modern cars, it takes a lot of things out further inside. But it's not a show winner, it's a good usable car. Just need to straighten things up and put them back where they should be. They're not moved far. I mean, the clips on that have broken. To work out what that is, if it needs to be watertight or not, but I suspect it probably will. It's got wires going in. But other than that, no broken springs, no issues anywhere else that I can see. Everything looks reasonably alright. Caliper's not seized, just the rusty discs. I've bolted it on because I'm going to clean them up. Like a makeshift lathe, basically. Use the car as a lathe to spin its own discs. And then once that's clean, you do the same with the back one. See if they come up alright. They should do. I've done it on so many cars before. They're rusty but not worn out. That because there's no lip or anything on it. Just give it a clean up, see how they go. If they're too bad, I'll replace them. Oh, and yeah, snap wheel stud. But handily, as I mentioned in the last video, it comes with, get out of the bag. There you get the gist. New rear hubs. So either it's an ABS fault or a bearings rumbling. Come on. Because it came with two of those, which is handy because no idea what make they are. There's nothing written on them, but complete units. And there's two of them, so I may as well change those while I'm here. Especially since I've got a stud snapped as well now. Right, let's get on with it. Now, second gear, ticking over. It's not got a limited slip diff in it, so it'll allow it to spin one wheel. It will set the ABS going wappy because there's only one wheel spinning. However, it works fine. All you do, you get some coarse emery cloth. I think what's this, 40? Yeah, 40 grit. Ideally wear a mask because it's dusty and horrible. Glasses, usual sort of nanny state stuff these days. And then just be careful of your fingers. Start on this side so it pulls around. Don't put your fingers here because you'll snag it into the into that. And because there's no back plates on these, you can do the back end the same. It won't take long. I'll try and get it so you can see, but swap hands so I'm not left-handed. Instantly you can see the black rusty stuff going away. It's easy with two hands, but you see it clearing the muck away quite quickly, and you just keep going through it until it's all silver. probably see all the dust in the sun, but it will get a bit warm if you keep your thumb in one place for too long. And you can see the difference straight away there. The difference between this side here, where I cleaned, and that side where it's all the rusty crap. It will eventually clean off with the pads, but not fully. But once you clean all the black off, like here, the pads will polish them up and they'll be like new discs again. So it's worth doing if they're not too badly worn. Obviously, if there's a lot of wear or a lip or the warped or anything, then it's a waste of time, but you can see the difference on it already. I'll carry on because obviously you don't want to watch this for probably an hour. By the time I've done both sides, I'll get the back disc and I'll show you a trick for that soon. There it is, all cleaned up. No muck on it. Clean the edge up as well, and also the back of it. I don't know if you can see, but if they're not too bad, you can get away with doing that. I mean, that's basically a few miles down the road. They'll look as pads will bed in nicely. Now for the rears. The rear ones, bolt them back to back onto the front. Make sure they've got enough thread through so you can put a decent amount of nut on them. By the way, this isn't something I'm telling you have to do or you should be doing. If you don't feel confident or you don't think it's safe, then don't do it. It's a case of, as anything in life, there is risks. I'm not telling you this is perfectly safe and end up tearing somebody's fingers off. It's just how I do them when the discs are actually okay. But I'll get this one started and make it see how much of a big difference it makes, because you can see there to there, look, between the front and the rear. We'll see how we go, get it started up and let's have a go with it. Same again, spinning. This is in third gear, it took over, it's working out about, I think it's about 16 mile an hour, 17 miles an hour or so. It's a little bit slow on the other one, so there's quite a bit more to do. And as before, just get your emery cloth, start at the back edge. Straight away there, you can see the silver coming through. The pads would wear the rust away, but it doesn't clean the surface, it just grinds it flat and it's not as effective then for braking. So clean them all up and I'll be back in a second. There you go, all done. Both hit discs bolted together so you can get to both sides. Inside of the back one. Well, the outside of the back one. Yeah, but you'll hear this now. Because the ABS is he's having a bit of a hissy fit. Let's knock it into neutral. Turn it all off. You may have an ABS light on when you first put it all back together, but once you drive it, all the wheels turn, it'll reset itself again. But yeah, saves quite a small fortune when actually there's nothing really wrong with them. Just a little bit rusty from being stood. Let's take that disc off. Sorry, you can't see what I'm doing. Lift it off. Yeah, and that side as well, clean. Get the sun on it. All the dark brown rusty stuff's gone. I mean, there's slight marks still, but the majority of that'll, in fact that's probably where I washed it off. Yeah, that's when I washed it with brake cleaner when it was spinning. So that'll be spot on. Get this hub changed. Go from there and see what happens with this. Oh, those bolts were a bit of a pain to get at. It's in through the back of here. But they all come out. The old one's a bit rough and ropey. There's slight clicking in it. Sorry, slight clicking in it when you turn it. Only ever so slightly. Then obviously you've got the cheaper part. I just looked at the part number. They're about 45 quid, reduced from 80 quid each, which means they're probably never 80 quid. They just make it look like a bargain. But they look alright. They look sort of fairly well made. Came with the car, so they're free, effectively. They must have been bought for a reason. So while it's in bits, I've got it all apart. May as well fit them. Now that holds the back plate on, so I'm going to need two hands for that, because that lines up sort of there. And then that slots in to hold it. You've got to put the bolt through from behind to hold it, so unfortunately you'll have to miss that bit, because I ain't got enough hands. That's the bearing back on. It's a lot smoother. The other just had a little bit of a clicking in it, which wasn't really noticeable until you're like this and you turned it slowly. But as I snapped a stud and they were in the boot, why not? Everything else seems okay in here. Wind the caliper back slightly, clean up the pads, and same with these, because you always seem to get everything I've done recently. These grooves here where the pad sits, it's a bit rusty, and then the pads stick, and instead of sliding they just get stuck and either don't break very well or bind and cause your brakes to overheat. So give them a really good clean out, scrape all this off, make sure your pads are free, and then just put it all back together. The caliper, I need to work out getting that spring clip out, if it will. It's aluminium caliper, steel spring, and at the moment I managed to get it off with it still stuck in there. We shall see whether it's to reassemble it as it is or try and get it out, but if I break it then I'm kind of stuck. But so far so good anyway. The disc's cleaned up alright, as I showed you. It's bright in the sunlight. New bearing on, sort the brake out, clean it up, sorry, put it all back together. No broken springs, nothing under there I've found that's wrong. It's just a case of, for whatever reason, it had been stood, or appeared to have been stood somewhere in a river, by the seems of the amount of rust on the brakes. But it's only this side. The other side's got some surface, but nowhere near as bad as this. But then again, it could have been down to the caliper being tight, not cleaning properly. But it's all getting there. MOT's, as I say, the MOT's booked for next week. Fingers crossed we'll be alright. Because it's quite a nice car, really. It's just a bit of a clean inside, which doesn't actually really need it. The main thing is a damn good polish outside, even though you can see my reflection. It's very dull. But mostly muck from coming off the roof. Right, let's carry on. That's all the back brake back together. All cleaned up. Hey, it's not a show car, it's a road car. It's all basic reviving it. Basically a family car anyway we're keeping, because the Rover over there, it needs a lot of work doing. Once this is finished I'll do that, then MOT that, then I'll be selling it. So it's just the front clean again. Now we need to just clean up the calipers and everything like I did before, clean up the pads. But for now, the wheels are quite bad because the discs were rusty and it had been moved a little bit. The ingrained muck, not the best condition, but they'll clean up okay. Inside's actually alright, no cracks on them either. They're quite common for bigger wheels these days to be cracking, get potholes like that. But hopefully they'll clean up alright, we'll find out in a minute. That's the wheel back on, all the brakes back on. I thought I'd taken a short video of it being cleaned, but obviously I forgot to press record. But wheels aren't perfect, but they're presentable. They clean up all right. So onto the front ones now. Well, it was with the other wheel before I clean it. This one's nowhere near as bad. The other was really quite bad and black around the inside because of the rust off the disc. Sorry, it's not too bad, but get a good clean up using it's not this stuff. If you know what it is, it's the stuff that makes it go really red and like blood coloured. But I just need to get someone, leave that wheel to cool a minute before I put it on, because it'll probably be too hot to be in the sun. Well, fingers crossed this will come out. I'll just wash my hands with the jet wash and wash my phone with the overspray, so hopefully this will work, because otherwise I might be a bit stuck. A couple of little bits need a bit more work, but I'll give them a quick scrub and get back on the car soon. I'm going to have a look at the front end underneath before I refit the wheel, otherwise it'll restrict my space somewhat. Alright, wheel arch liners are out. I've got the other side off, so the other wheel and that off, and I think I've got most of, if not all, the bolts for the bumper undone. Modern cars now, you just literally go around the edges and it's either clips or little screws, and mostly clips. A couple of obvious screws and panel securing up push fit things, but beyond that, most things now, very few bolts. It's just a few Torx head screws holding liners on, but hopefully going to get it taken off. No to lose, it's got to come off anyway. Fog light wires. Get one bigger. Yeah, flexy wobbly thing. Yeah, I don't know why. Obviously, decided it didn't need two horns, so somebody had one away. That's a mystery with this car. It's had several things taken off it, like door seal, wiper, sorry, windscreen washer jets, horn, things like that. It's all a bit bizarre really as to why, and there's nothing really else wrong, it's just a few bits missing. Oh, and this slightly bent corner, which I'm going to have a look at now. I didn't realise it was quite this filthy. Arms, everything absolutely black, sweating in a bit of dust and muck. It all soon gets to you. Corner's a bit better now. I've done a bit of adjustment on this panel here. It's just been pushed up slightly. This corner was a little bit out of shape, and I've adjusted these brackets so that supports the bumper to line up with the wing. But realistically, it wasn't much behind there. The couple of brackets are broken off this. I've managed to position it, get this one back in place. I just need to secure the back edge of it to hold it there where it's supposed to be, on the back of this panel here. And realistically, it can go back together. Fasten that in because I had a broken clip. The other side's the same, so I've been using that as an idea of how it's supposed to look and keep test fitting the bumper. I'm trying to find a horn, seeing as somebody nicked one. But it's getting there. Managed to get the headlight to fit. This piece here was a little bit out of shape, just pulled down and under slightly. So it's difficult to see with the light, it's too bright. But this panel here, nothing really drastically bent, it's just nudged this slightly and pushed that corner. But it's enough to write it off if it's done in a proper car. You can see why they did now, for the age it was. And what was it, 7-year-old at the time, so yeah, makes perfectly acceptable for what they do. Anything bigger than a scratch and it's game over. But yeah, I'll try and get back together and sort things out. I'll pop the grill out so I can put a new horn and then just clip it back together without having to screwdriver it back out like it's had before. But yeah, it's quite getting there. I want to clean the other wheel, and I managed to take a photograph of it rather than actually videoing it because I'm an idiot. But there you go, never mind. Right, I'll carry on. Right, well, that's the back corner, both corners now the right shape. Headlights fit the holes properly. The wing fits the headlight. Everything in there is straightened up, tightened up. I've repaired all the bracket on this. That's now solid. It pulled out of there, that's broken the corner up, it's alright. And this bracket up here was broken, so I've repaired that. Everything else in there is okay. Yeah, just a case of putting it back together. It's just these corners here where the bumper and the headlight align. That's where it needs a bit tweaking. Once the bumper's on in place, it is. Don't forget the fog lights. They're a bit more awkward when it's actually fitted, I suspect. Now it's a case of just lining all the clips up. So that it fits something like that's spot on, that. Considering this was a good 10mm out before. Oh, I'm pleased with that. Get some screws back in. We'll get it initially lined up and then fasten everything else afterwards. Yeah, that's better. Those two just sort of determine where it sits. How it sits against the wings, which now is perfect. Good gap down both sides. Shame I ain't got a horn, I can sort that, but now I can get to it. Now it's just a case of all the little clips and things that hold it in around this edge. So hopefully that will go in. Yeah. Too high. Too high? No, not too high. Just not in the right place. Ah, there you go. That's it. Clipped in place now. A little tiny bit of a tweak here. Yeah, I just need to pull this out ever so slightly. Getting there though. I'm happy with that. Minor adjustment and then it was good. You can take the headlight out, pull that through, just align it slightly and be good. Incidentally, the little things that design have gone into these cars, because anybody's changed bulbs on a modern car, you need 14 joints in your elbow and your arm and eyeballs in the end so you can see what you're doing. But these have had a good design feature. There's no space down here. What you do, pull out that pin, hold the back of the headlight and lift it out. All your bulbs are accessible. Put back in. Just fit in the hole, press it in place and put your pin back. Easy as that. And if you've ever changed them on other cars that you wish they did that. Right, I think that'll do for today. I've managed to get most of it done. It's got the brakes on the opposite side to do the front ends together. There's one bit of plastic that keeps popping out because it had a screw in it that was out of shape and it's pulled the plastic into a different sort of shape. So warm it up, I think, and try and get it to hold in because it's in the right position. It's just the top edge popping out. But it's looking a lot better. The grill's off still, like I say, because replace the horn. It's just easier to get it off. Well, you're able to get it off when the you can get to the clips at the back. Yeah, it's just that bit there. It clips in and then pops back out because it had a screw in here which has made this bendy. So I need to warm that up to get it to go and stick and stay there. Because the clip's working, it's just not strong enough because of how it was. Wheels are all clean. I need to order a couple of wheel nuts because one has lost its chrome cap and the other one, as you saw earlier, snapped. But this side's all done, that side's done. Just a few bits in the boot to sort out. Yeah, that bit of corner trim, sill trim, the little clip's broken off it. So I need to some epoxy in it and build it up around it to hold it in because super glue up strong enough. There's not enough of it. Shut that. It's amazing how filthy it is. Literally filthy. But I haven't washed it since I got it yet. So yeah, just that piece of corner trim I need to sort so it stays in place. And then it's back down to these brakes tomorrow probably. I've fastened the steering rack gaiter back on because that was just a tie wrap that wasn't strong enough. Other than that, can't see myself. Other than that, we're all done. But yeah, I think the battery's just about to die, so I can't actually see what I can see. I'm not even sure if it's still recording. But I shall get this put together. There may be another one to finish off the other side and any other more jobs before the MOT. But other than that, MOT, start on the next one. It's never ending. Still got to finish a Wartburg. That's got a show booked in the end of July. And the Skoda's sorted, all done now. I can get that to another show probably next weekend. So be out and about soon. Right, thanks for watching. I'll see you again soon. Cheers.